So let's say that there are different versions or different levels of hell. My daughter is 8. She is moody. Like I go home and says, Dad, I love you. Oh, great, come give me a hug. As she's running, her mood changes. Dad, I hate you. I can't really hug you. And then at a certain point, she sits back and says, Mom, I don't really know why all of a sudden my mood changes. And that's a good amount of awareness, coming to realize you occupy 2 different worlds in such a short time, and you have no idea to which world you belong. That's a very confusing place to be. And as her confusion grows bigger and bigger and bigger, she becomes much more aware of it, hopefully. And that's a difficult place because you need to figure out what to do with this. You're not going to remain 8, at least that's not the way we see her. Eventually she's going to be 12, and then 18. God forbid she's going to go out there and find a man. And then no man is going to withstand the yo-yo syndrome. One day being good, 5 days being bad, or 1 minute or 1 second or whatever. So that's one form of hell. Now remember, you cannot be in hell if there is no awareness about you. See, right now you're sitting in this class. You don't feel the hell. Go to Folsom Lake College in Sacramento or Sierra College. 20,000 student body, about 16 or 17,000 white. Walk there. You'll become aware of something really, really unique. Amongst the 2,000 people who are walking, you're the only African American. And all of a sudden, that's going to trigger some buttons inside you. Your history is going to come forth. Angela Davis is going to come forth. Lynching is going to come forth. Judgment is going to come forth. And then you're going to kind of feel uneasy. Now, that's the hell. Now, as long as you're here, you're not going to be aware of that. But once you're there, you become aware. So remember, hell cannot exist without awareness. Now, to what extent you want to be aware of your situation in life, that's something else that we can talk about at a later point. Because remember, the more you're aware, the more of hellish space you occupy, and the more tools you try to look for to get yourself out. That becomes your paradise. That's the promised land. Now remember, this can take all sorts of different shades. It can be in a marriage, and all of a sudden you realize it's not going well. You can be in a class. You can be writing an essay 20 pages long only to realize it's trash. You can be having a conversation with your boyfriend only to realize he has ears that down here, okay? So every time you become aware of anything, at any stage of life, you have entered into hell. There is this other hell we talked about, I don't know if it was this class or another class, where I borrow from Jean-Paul Sartre's novel, No Exit, Other People Are Hell. Thank God you have a good voice. The tone of your voice is pleasant. So when you speak, when you ask your question, I'm not focused about the tone of your voice. I'm only focused on your question. Imagine if the tone of your voice was, may I ask a question? Now that's going to be very distracting, especially if your mom has talked to you about correcting the tone of your voice, or if you have seen the movie My Fair Lady. It's a beautiful movie. It's about how a man finds a woman disgusting. He begins to train her to look well, to speak well, and then he falls in love with her. And unbeknownst to her, she has fallen in love with him. And even though a prince has asked her to marry him, initially saying yes, she comes to ultimately realize she wants to go back to the guy who corrected who she was. But now something strange happens to this man, which is he wants her to speak the way she's always spoken, this strange twang in her voice, the way she pronounces words. Now, if the tone of your voice was bad, or if you were not able to kind of formulate your question eloquently, maturely, then you realize you have entered another hell, which is all these people are respectfully sitting back and watching you fumble all over the place, but they won't say anything. But once in a while, you kind of look this way and you say, well, why is she looking at me weird? And then you look this way, why is he looking at me weird? And all of a sudden you become self-conscious. And then you say, all of a sudden, let me think about my question. I'll ask it on Tuesday. And the Tuesday is the second week of the semester, where you will never speak in class again, because you don't want to experience that hellish experience. So another hell is the creation of other people, their imposition. And it's very, very difficult to kind of get over that unless you are so extremely confident about who you are, what you are, or you're arrogant enough, like Trump, to just throw a temper tantrum and just say, I'm entitled. There is this other hell we just talked about a few minutes ago, is whenever you're joyous, when you're happy, consider that to be a promised land. You've entered it, and it's your home, and you feel comfortable. And hell is a place where you have lost all the power. There are flames, your skin is being burnt, whether it's your emotions, your skin, your intellect, your soul, whatever the case may be, but it's a very uncomfortable place. It's very much like, imagine I'm your husband and you come home and you usually see me being in a relatively jolly mood, but today I'm a little gloomy. You ask what's going on and say, I'm sorry, got cancer. Now that's another hell. Now, if you have young kids, the hell gets a bit more hot, because one of the things that happens, we are single, we're hanging out, you love me, I love you. You give me a good amount of attention, I like it. I'm a vain man. Then we have kids. And I realized, man, she used to cook all the time, come greet me by the door, give me flowers, kiss my feet. I'm just joking. You know, now that you have kids, I come home, I have to scream, hello, hello, nothing. And then I realized, yeah, you're just back, in the bedroom and you're playing with the kids, having fun with them. And then I say, yeah, honey, I have cancer. Now, this is a different kind of hell. You care for me, you love me, but you say to yourself, if he dies, the hell am I gonna do? I'm young, I'm not done with school, and I got 4 kids. Now, that is a difficult place to be. That is a place where you have no control, no power, and you wanna figure things out. There is this other hell, let's just say, it's either because of your quarter-life crisis or your midlife crisis, where you've accumulated a lot of goods, like you filled your house with a lot of stuff and you like it, but one morning you wake up, like you have a husband, you have kids, you have a wife, whatever, and you say, I hate my life. And it's something we've all experienced, but now it's an experience that just doesn't leave you. And the moment you become aware of that, and if the awareness stays with you, now if the awareness leaves you, you're very, very lucky. If you're not religious, you should be religious, go to church and thank God 1,000 times. Because once again, you've moved into this land of forgetfulness where life is happy and joyous. But if the awareness persists, you can expect the flames to become more intense, because as your midlife or quarter life crisis, or you come to a place of intellectual awakening, I suppose, where you say, I don't know, like Gilgamesh, I'm going to die, and if I'm going to die, what thing should I pursue? Because once you realize you're going to die, your relationship with time is going to change, with money is going to change, with your body is going to change, with your relationship with other people are going to change. And nothing really has any meaning anymore. Now, you have not just lost a little bit of power, you've lost all the power you had in life. Absence of power, absence of meaning, absence of purpose, you have nothing. You have gone to tabula rasa, blank slate. You won't allow anyone to write anything on you that will give you meaning. Your father says, honey, calm down. You don't really care. Your husband says, we'll make things work. You don't really care. Your boss says, I'll give you a pay raise. You don't really care. If you watch the movie, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, there is this lawyer who wants her name on the door. She wants to be made partner. And she's working with this priest, and this priest has seen things. And now she begins to see and experience things that she can no longer forget. She wins the case against all odds. And then her boss comes to her and says, your name is going to be on the door. But now she knows too much. Now she sees too much. And she says, you know what? Keep it. I don't want it. And she walks away. And that's a very, very difficult place to be, because your life has been turned upside down. Now you live in hell. Now, the problem with this particular hell is that you don't really have much of a support system, because it wasn't created by another human being. You don't know who the villain is. The villain is life, and life is too goddamn big. And you can't correct life. Now you're all alone, without any support system. You go to books, you go to church, you go to therapy, you do drugs, you do alcohol, you go hiking and you scream. And who knows the outcome of that particular hellish life. And I gotta tell you, it doesn't matter how many lectures you go to, how many workshops you go to, you will get tiny insights about things, but they're not strong enough, powerful enough, supported enough to carry you through this ocean of flames. There is another hell, and I'll give it to you in a way that I myself experienced it, which is the following. My life is good, a 19-year-old kid or 18-year-old kid, minding my own business, playing tennis, playing soccer, having a fling here and there, good to my parents, wash cars and all that. Then you have this man randomly meet, and he says, come to my gathering. I say, fine. And little by little, I realize that the more I go to his gatherings, the more meaningful they become for me. But when I go home, the less meaning I can find at home. And the less meaning I can find in the music I listen to, and the less meaning I can find in the friends I have. Now I'm stuck between two places. Now, the thing is, because I like the sky and because I also like the sky, all of a sudden, without really knowing, there is this business transaction that's taking place. I realized that for some strange reason, the things that he's saying and the way he is very compatible to who I am on the inside. I don't know why or how. It just feels compatible. So I go to the gatherings more. And the more I go to him, the less I can occupy my own life. So every time I'm in my life, it's hell. It lacks meaning, it lacks affection, it lacks purpose, it lacks depth. So every day when I used to go to the car wash, I would go with a suitcase of books. And I would never greet any of my customers. I would have either my mom, my dad, or my brother do it because I knew customers would just talk and talk and talk. I didn't care about them. So he makes your life less meaningful. And the only way your life is meaningful is through him. And then I realized I really, really, really like this man. And whenever there is a dilemma in any part of my life, I go to him and I say, what should I do? He becomes the very source and anchor. He creates imaginations, pictures in my mind, but I don't really know what they mean in real life, in practical life. I don't know the meats and the bones. I have no idea what they just sound good. And you know when someone gives you this platform that's way up there and you want to achieve it, you realize, well, you go to the gatherings, it's all talk. And you go home, you have all these intense emotions, and you want to climb this ladder to get to the top. There are no ladders. And your only anchor is this idiot who's contaminated you. And when you go to him and say, what should I do? He says, Amir, yes, be patient. I'm 50. I've been living in confusion for the past 40 years. How much more patient do I need to be? Amir, I've been there. I've done that. Be patient. This is a hell that is never going to end, I think. And then lo and behold, little by little, because of his support, and now we have a community, and now you vent your anger and frustration through music, through getting together, having food, having tea, making friendships, beautiful friendships, all revolving around ideas. You realize the support system can protect you while you are in hell. Now that is a good hell to be. Now, if there is anything you like about this class and the ideas we talk about in this class, it is all the outcome of hell. It's not God, it's not paradise, it's hell. And if you are inspired, if you're excited, if once in a while you make some observations about things because of the classes that we have had, those tiny little insights that you have, they're your tiny footprints on the paradise land that eventually you will get. You just have to wait. I don't come to class because I have answers. I come to class because it's a way I can vent all the ideas and frustrations and emotions that live inside me. And that hell inspires you.